Greetings everyone, this is Lodrik and this is again the game War in the Pacific Admirals Edition, and today we will check the 20th December 1941 in the match against Jochen. I remember last time we had a small carrier strike with the 1st Carrier Division near to Cooktown, northeast of Australia, with limited 250 kilogram bomb hits on a light cruiser. A not very successful port strike against Surabaya with far too high losses in torpedo bomber numbers for the Japanese Navy, Air Force, and only 2 damaged or killed destroyers. I would say a purest victory, maybe not even that. I was able to kill a lot of enemy fighters, what is most important for me normally now in these days. But it was not a really successful turn, just so. Now we're trying to get rid of some American submarines here for Boulder. So far, Jochen's submarines was not really successful, but mainly also related to my first strike on Manila port and the crippling of most of the American submarines there, so that I only have to battle with 10 or 20% of the original American submarines, and the rest are all Dutch and maybe some British sooner or later. And here is one of these Dutch submarines nearby my invasion fleet, luckily without an attack. And I can find but miss. Okay, what this time? Okay, there's a medium-sized cargo ship near to Tahiti, and my submarine is a little aggressive and not only used 1 torpedo hit, but at least 2, now 3 torpedo hits, so I'm a little waste, I would nearly say. For a cargo ship, 1 torpedo hit is most of time already enough. 2 torpedo hits for sure, and 3 is overkill. So this cargo ship will for sure go down. And we hear the sinking sound. So not overly successful in submarine campaign for me, especially here around of Hawaii is not much to do. Here we have a small cargo ship from the Japanese Navy and the American Mark 14 torpedo attack, and luckily no hit. I had far too much unluck with the Mark 13 air torpedoes against my light cruiser. I cannot overcome this tragic loss. Anyway, again, many torpedoes, no effect. Okay, so I'm picking up a next Dutch base here in the northern part of Dutch New Guinea, but it's really only take it on the way. The direction is more or less normally Rabaul. Loading and unloading. So most important normally for any Japanese player in the first weeks and months is of course that the loading and unloading of army equipment and divisions, units, brigades, everything have a smooth operation without without high losses against submarine attacks, air attacks, or intercepting and surface engagement. And Jochen used most of the surface equipment in this Dutch area, or Java area, Borneo area, and we had this heavy engagement, and this it cost me 4 destroyers in total, 3 frontline units, 1 escort style. So I suffer some losses, and destroyers I can replace, but only one destroyer per month. So it will have an impact for me in the future, but still possible. And the loss of my light cruiser is, I can also replace some light cruisers, but only more or less 1 per year. So that is really can only happen every 4, 5, 6 months maybe, without really have impact. So my scouting, my first air carrier division still can detect some Navy units nearby. I expected normally that the sea is empty, but for some reasons there are still task forces nearby. But we will see how big this kind of task force is. And a lot of bad weather. Some bombardment in Manila to soften up all these British, Malayan, English forces. Maybe there are also some Australian somewhere. But Kuala Lumpur is hard to hit. I must throw a lot of tonnage on these units to create a little damage, so it's maybe more training purpose and less efficiency bombardment. I think this turn I change attack on airfield mainly to make sure that Jochen don't try here anything surprisingly. Also to create damage on enemy supplies. But I don't play this long time supply burning tactic stuff. This is normally not my purpose here. It's more only damage the runway so that airplanes cannot operate here easily out. Normally I see here no airplanes more, but maybe they come back. But I don't know why. But I try normally to take Clark Field before all the allies consume their supplies, because I won't catch the supplies to use them for myself. Because supplies are really the stuff I need. I need capture supplies to keep my armies supplied, well organized or well fed. And so I can jump from island to island. If I am too slow in this hopping of islands, I will burn more and more of my own supplies and will sooner or later dry out. And if this happens, then the Japanese fail. Nearly no impact here. Maybe on the morale and fatigue of the unit, but even that will not be overcritical, because there's none of my Japanese forces at the same hex. So I think the fatigue I built up on these forces can overnight maybe already vanish and replace or consume. The consumption of enough alcohol will always lift up the spirit of these British forces. Or maybe they don't drink. Yeah, maybe they drink alcohol, but tea with something else. Okay, so we have an airstrike, but again, a lot of zeros, but the number of strike planes are small. Normally, I have much more airplanes here to strike, but I don't know. The commander choose to only send out a small percentage. But on the other hand, I can find here some really heavy troop transport. Not even one, even two. This is maybe not super biggest, but a torpedo hit is always good, of course. Especially this is Townsville, so there's no shipyard. If we can create here heavy flotation damage, then the ship is crippled for a long time. Okay, this is now the second torpedo hit. This looks like maybe a 10,000 ton troop ship. Okay, 3 torpedoes. This is normally enough. And number 4 is all the torpedoes on one ship again. So, and this I think is one of the heavy troop transport ships, but I'm not sure, maybe like 13,000 tons. So of course 5 torpedo hits will sink every troop transport, and this was an army troop transport ship. You can see this is a military equipped troop transport ship belonging to, I think, to the army, not to the navy, and this is civilian, only hired or leased by the navy, army, whatever. So we have a second strike with a little more strike forces against Cooktown here, but these are smaller troop transport ships. But every troop transport ship I can kill is normally always important for me. If tankers are the most important, or tanker or AOs are, I think, the number 1 target, and troop transport ships are the number 2 targets. Yeah. The Americans, they have unlimited oil and supplies, and they have nearly unlimited cargo capacity, but they don't have enough tankers. So crippled tankers will slow down everything. And the Allies, I think, they also lack the ability to rebuild cargo ships and troop transport ships. The Japanese, they can do this quickly and cheap. But I think the Allies, they don't have this ability. So if they want to move troops, they must use the official troop transport ships for this. So to sink troop transport ships is also a way to slow down all counter-strike of the Allies. But I still prefer to kill tankers. Nothing is better than a burning sea and see all the Yankees burning there. This will always give joy to my true Japanese spirit. So we kill here at least 2 more troop transport ships. And to kill maybe 4 troop transport ships will have an impact for the next 1 month, maybe, to move units around here in Australia. So 2 ships go down, and I lost one of my own dive bombers. And again, we had here some additional points for damage, not for the disabled, but for the destroyed units. So if I really remember it right, I get, I don't know, if non-combat gets the same points like combat squads, I don't know more. But maybe I get 7 points plus 1, so 8 points maybe for this army stuff and these 2 ships. We will see. So, and again, the dive bombers, if they have good skills, I don't know if there's a calculation or this is purely by luck, how deep they will dive, and of course if they're diving deeper, then they have higher chance to hit something. And torpedo attacks are always at 200 feet. But you can see 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 attack. I mean, if both all the ships are dead, then they are dead, so I don't care how deep my dive bombers go. So this air attack was more successful than last day. Ah, we have an afternoon attack. Ho ho ho. Maybe I can find something in the afternoon. Okay. Maybe a cargo ship. And we can kill one of the scout planes, scout bombers Jochen tried to send out. I'm still waiting for any airstrike from him. But maybe the Australian American mighty Air Force is a little shaken by the president of this Japanese task force hiding somewhere to wait for that I leave the area. After I was last turn or last day I had here this battle, this strong Chinese force was able to temporarily defeat and not defeat really, I think my Japanese forces only reorganize in southwest area, and because the terrain is clean, I order my air force to start a clean-up operation out of the air and try to bring damage, death and destruction to this peasant fighting forces. Because the Chinese distinctly don't know what is good for them. They need education. So I must maybe open some re-education camps here in China. Not that this happened here now in reality, or who will believe this? Here's another Chinese HQ still on the run, and I try to soften it up. So there's still some units ready. Not all are disabled. But over time, I will get rid of them. I only want to get rid of them because they're blocking my railway, maybe. And this here is similar. Some leftover Chinese forces. And we have one more airstrike, but still no fighters in the air. We can maybe finish this now. A little more bomb hits here. Critical hit. So revanche for my light cruiser here. This is a little the taste I had with the dojo game. So often my carriers moving down the coast of Australia and sinking and damaging and letting back only burning wrecks of American, Australian, New Zealand ships. And this is at least something similar. I'm only not sure if I was in the dojo game also so early on here already in Australia. I only have the feeling that in this game I must play a little more aggressive. Push faster. And strike now. And because I think sooner or later Jochen will maybe use his carrier fleet to pressure me And if this happens, I don't know if I can operate so freely, so easy again. So 9 more bomb hits on already a burning ship is now heavy fires, heavy damage. So for I think this go down now. Yeah. There we have a sound, sinking sound. This is very likely this heavy transporter, and I have one of my destroyers having some flotation problem, but it's not critical. Yeah. And some sub activity. Good. And because I realized that my carriers was detected early on, and I was not sure where this detection come from, so I want to make sure that Shortlands in Tulagi is not any seaplane base, so I sent 2 of my fast amphibious units out to make sure to take this bases and simply say, here is nothing. Don't worry in the future. Yeah, this is one of my Japanese division, and against the Chinese already destroyed core or broken core. But they still won't they don't want to give up completely, so they're running away. But you can see nearly nothing is disabled, so everything gets destroyed, so only the walking shell now. Now I take also Wenzhou, and Wenzhou is an important industry city. To take this will boost normally, not overcritical, but it will boost the Japanese economy in the long run. I think it's more or less only it boosts the Japanese economy. The Chinese, they cannot use it because they don't have oil, and there's heavy industry, and heavy industry need a fuel to keep the heavy industry running, not only resources. And here is a similar activity, kicking some Chinese forces, and this time this Chinese force really disintegrate. So we take over the railroad hacks. So I'm one more step ahead in relink my cities that I can more easily move units around the map in China. And in China, logistics is, I think, one of the most important. All the heavy big armies are useless if you cannot support your units. Good. So it was this turn was a good turn, I would say, simply because I was able to sink something was methods, not only small mini cargo ships, and I lost nearly nothing in return, I would say. So intelligence reports say no air losses, but I lost 1 by flak and some operational losses. But this is standard, because any airstrike will always suffer flak damage, and flak damage will simply create airframe losses. So 2 of my Jack scout planes have flak damage maybe or something, and then written off. Also the bombardment in Malaya will create flak damage, and these are also similar to this. This is a flak losses. 1 of my torpedo bombers. Oh, okay. And The Hudson we killed air to air. This was a scout plane coming, trying to make some pictures for my carriers, but of course no go. And the DC-2, a transport plane. Somewhere Jochen used them for, I don't know, DC-2? Maybe we can check for a moment. Only 2. I think I saw it once before, but only 2 DC-2. So somewhere they have operational losses. Good. So for my 6 airframes, I lost 2 pilots are killed. 1 killed by flak for sure, and someone else, and 2 wounded pilots. So nothing overcritical. Good. And ship sunk, confirmed. I mean, not confirmed, but by Japanese intelligence report confirmed. These are the 4 troop transport ships. So, but I think the big one is missing. This is a ship we sunk with a 18-inch torpedo. This is New Zealand. Yeah, this sunk by a... This is air torpedo. This is the Vito. The Vito was killed by a submarine torpedo. This has a big submarine torpedoes. And 8 points are nothing super critical. This is standard. This is a cargo ship, not a troop transport ship. Okay, this is a good standard cargo ship. Nice to kill. This is similar. This has a fast troop transport ships, but not with too much capacity. Only 900. Naja. It's the first troop transport ship, I would say, counts and matters. Everything smaller than this is only support, but nothing really core. This one is already better. Can carry more cargo, more range, and is okay. This is a real US Army, so this is a military ship. Normally they have, I think, more durability, so more hit points. They can carry much more cargo and troops, so they have more value. And the other ship, the biggest ship, is here not in the intelligence report. So maybe it's not sunk, but very likely. And if it's not sunk, it's a totally crippled ship and maybe out of the war for 1 year. Especially if it's not in there's a shipyard nearby. I don't know. Maybe need 100 days to repair and then move to a shipyard and then 100 days again. Good. Don't know if there's much to say because we don't have too much activity. I starting moving out more units out of Manchukuo and park them here in Chengqing and Beijing and also Kaifeng, and try to organize here some stuff and waiting to organize and prepare my final push here. So I will maybe move here units to this hex, and from this hex I can go directly for Changzhou, or I maybe will try to move more units around the highway and then attack from the land side. Then I don't must make this river crossing. I also must organize something here in the source. Most important is that I take this hex, because I mean, if I take this city, I must also take this hex, or it makes no sense. I need all this railway link back to Manchukuo to really start moving stuff around. Here is only some Chinese units behind the line. Wenzhou I took, and I think the industry is 100% because there was no any army. So light industry will work immediately, need only resources. The heavy industry is out of production because there is no fuel, or at least not enough fuel. Resources I produce, but I need this 60 resources are only enough to fill up 60 light industry, but I have here 80, so I need more resources, plus the heavy industry. The most important is normally here are heavy industry. I need 1 or 2 turns to bring here some fuel in, but then I can upgrade this heavy industry day by day, and I will keep this around maybe 5 to 10, that every day I get one more heavy industry, additional heavy industry. And this I can keep up to the 1st of June, and 1st of June I will stop upgrading heavy industry. But up to June I will try to push as much heavy industry as possible. So every hex, or every base I can take where it's heavy industry, allow me to build more up, build heavy industry more up. So that, because 1st of June 42 is a dead end. No heavy industry repair or building more after this date. After that I will not repair anything. It still makes for heavy industry no sense. I mean, it can make sense, but only if you play up to 45. Not sure if this will happen. So here in the source important is that I try to catch these forces, but they're always running exactly the same speed I walk, so I must use my air force to slow them down more quickly. But I try. Maybe I can catch them in this hex. This hex is normally important. No, it's not easy to see, but here is 121 heavy industry resources, and this is something. 121 resources will matter, so I will try to take it and hold it. I also move here my new Chinese Southern Army out, the 23rd Army and everything what belongs to it, to take Kukong, because once I take Kukong and then I normally, and if I take this hex in Kukong, then everything here is trapped. But I said this before, so nothing really new. Here is also nothing new. Manila, we are arriving already in Taiping, will fall next turn because there's nothing left. I also secure this Malacca, so I will drive now for Kuala Lumpur. My scouts say there are only 2 units, light defended, so maybe I can take also Kuala Lumpur in a swift take, so that I can bring all my forces down to Singapore. And maybe with a little luck, end of the year I can take Johor Bahru, and in the first week of the year I can take Singapore. Then the operation is 5 weeks advance real time, or real events. Nothing more here, only submarines left to block here and make a little trouble. Carriers walking back and trying to lure something out, but nothing happened. Okay, I must reorganize in here in Balbeldo. I cannot explain. Babeldaob. Somehow. I really don't know how to pronounce it completely. And maybe I never explained this, but I think my 2 carriers arrived here, Kaga and Akagi. I choose them mainly because they are the slowest out of all the carriers. All other carriers operate with the 33 speed, but these are 2 slow carriers, and I like to add them to the support carriers to have something heavily in the core. And I use them here mainly now to reform my carrier able air wings, like this one. This is an air wing, can operate from a carrier, but it's not carrier trained. So if you use them from a carrier, you will have higher operational losses. Only if you keep this unit 3 months on a carrier, it will be carrier trained and have not more this additional suffering. But so far I really don't see any purpose to do this, to keep a unit on a carrier for 3 months, because at least with the Japanese you have enough air wings are capable, already trained for carrier duty. So I really only resize them and bring them back to port. So, and the best is, what I like to do is, because if you unload the carriers now directly in their dock or in the port, then all your airplanes are in maintenance. So I like more to create a new task force, take the carriers, make sure that they are not docked, so they are automatically docked now here, so I undock them. Then I say Kara, Air Wing, 36 airplanes is already resized to 72, original is I think 36. Then I say transfer to a base. Then I say Tokyo. This is the other Air Wing on jumps back. On Akagi. Akagi have the torpedo bombers. Same story. This is a carrier capable but not carrier trained. So I say go back to transfer to base. Go to Tokyo. And everything, my carriers are now empty. So nothing left. Kara is empty. Akagi is empty. But my air wings are now here. 70. I think this is the other one. This I did last turn. Torpedo bomber. No, this is also I did last turn. Oh, so many. I have too many airplanes here. Torpedo bomber. Here. Oh. I don't know. Oh. Maybe this is the wrong one. Ah, here. Okay. Now. No, this is the other one. Ah. I make a mistake. I dock them? Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. Now the ships was undocked, but I docked them, and now exactly this happened. But my mistake. Of course, they must be undocked. Now I make the wrong. This is the ship, and because the ship was docked, now all the ships are officially damaged, and you need 2 days to fix this damage. So you're wasting more or less 1 day at least, but often 2 days that the airplanes are in maintenance and they cannot be used for training. So I normally like to undock, then unload. So because this is more or less a unloading, means disassembling the airplane, unloading, and assemble again. But if you undock the carriers, then you fly the air wing, you fly from the carrier and land on the air force, and then you must disassemble everything. So okay, I make it wrong, but this is only example. In reality, of course, I did it. If I did this, if this would be my game, I always save before I do this, then I execute, and then I save again. So if I did this now wrong, I would simply reload the game. But this is now on YouTube forever, or at least for some time. So the carriers are here, resizing everything what is possible, and then I will move these 2 carriers also to direction of Java, link up with my assistance carrier force, and then I have a little more punching power to clean up here everything. At the same time, I try to finish up the Philippines, and after I finish the Philippines, I think this time I will go not for Tarakan, Balikpapan. I will first go here to Mindanao and take the southern part of Philippines, because here operating some Catalinas and I won't get rid of them. And last time I sent here first only 1 division, this was not strong enough, then I realized I need a 2nd division, and even that was just barely enough. So I maybe send now everything what I have down, simply to finish here everything quickly. And after this I maybe go for Java. And I also maybe bypass my first Balikpapan and Tarakan. Both bases are not so important for me now. They are oil, yes, but I think it's better important for me to take normally Java as fast as possible. I need Surabaya, here's the shipyard, and this is important. Here's heavy industry and everything else. Okay, and normally also I would say everything what is in Tarakan and Balikpapan is already locked. it's very risky to move it now out here. But Java is much easier to escape. So if I take first Java, then I make sure that nothing can escape more here. But we will see. It's only an option. How this game really will unfold, we will see. Thank you all. See you. Bye bye.